Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming to our Sunday feast program today. So today I've been asked to talk about Lord Jagannath. So we'll briefly discuss some of the pastimes of Lord Jagannath. Soon, I think in 2 weeks' time, we're going to have a big festival, Snan Yatra, and that's said to be like Lord Jagannath's birthday, it's said to be. And it's also the day when Lord Jagannath, he gets Abhishek ceremony, and after he gets the Abhishek, as part of Lord Jagannath's pastimes, he becomes sick, and for 2 weeks he plays out his sick pastimes, and we're not able to take darshan of him. And after that, when he finally gets cured, that's when the famous Ratha Yatra happens, the famous festival of chariots. So I think it's end of June. If you go to our website, you can see the exact date of Snan Yatra. We'll be celebrating that in the temple. And sometime afterwards in July, I think it's July 17, we'll be having the Ratha Yatra, and we'll be doing that in Liverpool also. And for those of you who are new, who don't know about Lord Jagannath, they're on the left side of our altar, left side to Radha Gopinath. And Lord Jagannath is Krishna himself. And it's a very unique form of Krishna. So Lord Jagannath, as Krishna is blackish in complexion, Lord Jagannath is blackish in complexion. And towards the right side of Lord Jagannath are his brother and sister. So Lord Balaram, he's white in complexion, and Mother Subhadra, she's in the middle. And she's their little sister. So Lord Jagannath is Krishna himself, and it's a very merciful form of Krishna that comes specifically in Kali Yuga to give mercy to the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. And one thing that devotees surprises them or makes them inquisitive is the unique form of Lord Jagannath. Although we say Lord Jagannath is Krishna, he has a very unique facial expression, very unique looking deities. And there's a story behind how Krishna, he got this very unique form of Lord Jagannath with big eyes, with no arms, like that. So this story is recited in the Puranas, that one time it's given in the Bhagavatam that in Dwarka, the city of Krishna, as we all know from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna had 16,108 wives or queens in Dwarka. And for each of these queens, Krishna had a separate palace. And Krishna was personally present with each different queen in all of the 16,108 palaces. And what would happen? When morning time would come and Krishna, he would have to go to work, he would have to go to the assembly hall to talk with his ministers about how to rule the kingdom, how to solve different problems. At that time in the morning, Krishna would say bye to each one of the 16,108 queens in the separate palaces. So there will be 16,108 Krishnas present personally with each of the queens. And Krishna would leave all of those different palaces at the same time. And all those Krishnas, they will come, merge as one Krishna, and that one Krishna would go to the assembly hall of the king. And there Krishna will talk with his ministers about different problems and things happening in the kingdom. So one day Krishna and Balaram, they leave the palace and they go to meet the ministers and discuss about the problems of the day, what's happening in the kingdom. And at this time when they go, the queens of Dwarka, they all go and approach Mother Rohini. So Mother Rohini, she's the mother of Lord Balaram. And Mother Rohini, she's a very amazing devotee of the Lord, in the sense, very fortunate devotee of the Lord, because Mother Rohini, she got to see Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes and also Krishna's Dwarka pastimes, which is very unique, because this Uddhava, he is also another unique devotee who got the opportunity to go to Vrindavan and observe the Vrajavasis, observe Nanda Maharaj, Gopis, their love and devotion of Krishna. But Mother Rohini, she is in a very unique category, because Krishna gave Mother Rohini the fortune of seeing all of Krishna's childhood pastimes in Vrindavan, And also when then Krishna moves to Dwarka, Mother Rohini also, she goes with Krishna and Balaram to Dwarka. So she got to see both of them. And the queens of Dwarka, they never got to see Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. But they know that Mother Rohini, she saw all these pastimes in Vrindavan. So they know that if we want to hear about Krishna's beautiful pastimes as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, we should ask Mother Rohini. So one day when Krishna and Balaram, they left the palace and they went for work, at that time all the queens of Krishna, they come and approach Mother Rohini that, you were present with Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan, you got to see all of their pastimes. Can you please tell us some of the childhood pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan? Then Mother Rohini, she said, okay, but these pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, they are very confidential, and I need someone to stand guard at the door. And because she knew that as soon as she starts reciting, Krishna and Balaram, they'll be attracted and they'll come. And she knew that Krishna and Balaram, they'll hear these pastimes, they'll go mad into ecstasy, hearing their own pastimes. So Mother Subhadra, Krishna's little sister, who we see here, in between Lord Jagannath and Baladev, she volunteers. She says, don't worry, I'll stand guard at the door. So then Mother Rohini, she starts talking Krishna Katha. She starts talking about all the Vrindavan pastimes of Lord Krishna. And all the queens of Dwarka, the 16,108 queens, they're all sitting in a big assembly hall, and they're all hearing these wonderful childhood pastimes of Krishna. All the pastimes that we hear in Srimad Bhagavatam. And as they're hearing these beautiful pastimes of Krishna, all the queens, they all go into transform to ecstasy. They all go into samadhi just by hearing those beautiful pastimes of Krishna. And even Mother Subhadra, who's standing guard at the door, just like in our temple room, due to COVID, we always have, during festival time, someone at the guard to make sure, there's only 40 people in the temple room. So similarly, Mother Subhadra, she was given the service of being the security guard. But when she also started hearing the childhood pastimes of Krishna, she also goes into ecstasy. And at that time, Krishna and Balaram, although they were present far away in the assembly hall, they knew that Mother Rohini is reciting their Vrindavan pastimes. And Krishna and Balaram, they couldn't control themselves, they couldn't help themselves. They came running to where Mother Rohini was reciting the pastimes. They came running to hear their own pastimes. And as Krishna and Balaram come, they come to the door. And at that time, Mother Subhadra, Krishna's sister, she's in ecstasy hearing the pastimes. And it's given when one goes into transcendental ecstasy, he experiences different bodily symptoms. And one of these bodily symptoms that Krishna, Balaram and Mother Subhadra went through was that their eyes became very big, they became dilated. Their limbs started retracting into their bodies. And that's what happened when they were hearing the Vrindavan pastimes. So this happened to all three of them. Krishna, when he starts hearing his own pastimes, he goes into transcendental ecstasy, his eyes becomes very big, his limbs, they retract into his body. Same thing happens to Lord Balaram and same thing happens to Mother Subhadra. And at that time, Narad Muni comes and he sees this very unique form of Krishna, Balaram and Subhadramani. Very unique form of all three of them going into spiritual ecstasy, all three of them, their limbs retracting to bodies, their eyes becoming very big in spiritual ecstasy. And when Narad Muni takes darshan of this, he's like, oh, I've seen this, I've seen it. What a wonderful, amazing feature of my Lord. And then Narad Muni, he begs Krishna for a boon, that this form that I've seen, I want you to give darshan of this form to all the souls in the future in Kali Yuga. I want everyone else to also have this darshan. So because of Narad Muni's request, then Krishna says, okay, and Krishna, he descends in that particular form of Lord Jagannath. So that's how Krishna, he takes this very unique form of having big, big eyes, his limbs retract into his body. So that's how the form of Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadramani has come. And it's given in the Shastras that Lord Jagannath, he is specifically come to give mercy to the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. It's said out of all the different yugas, Kali Yuga is the most degraded. It's mentioned in Bhagavatam, so many different lists of characteristics given in Kali Yuga. How the lifespan is reduced, people in general, they'll be more sinful, they'll be addicted to sinful things, no one will be interested in spiritual life, religion. And in Bhagavatam it's given, Kale Dose Nide Rajan, that Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. So in such hard circumstances where everything is negative, where everything is so hard, then naturally the Shastras explain, because Kali Yuga is such a terrible time to take birth in, Krishna, he also manifests his most merciful form. So if someone is suffering more, then the medicine will be more powerful. Or if someone's really struggling, then more help is required. So that's why the form that Krishna takes in Kali Yuga, the form of Lord Jagannath, is said to be more merciful than any other form. It's given in the Puranas that if you just take darshan of Lord Jagannath once, that's equal to taking darshan of 10 incarnations of the Lord face to face. So just once you come to a temple and you take darshan of Lord Jagannath, that's equal to taking darshan of 10 avatars face to face. That's how merciful Lord Jagannath is. Bhakti, His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, he gives a lot of beautiful pastimes of Lord Jagannath, narrating his history and his glories. And if you get a chance, you can download some of his lectures online. And he explains another reason why Lord Jagannath has big eyes. It's given that Lord Jagannath has big eyes because he's always looking for the good qualities in his devotees. So the general human tendency is, we always look for faults in others. Someone might be very good in many different things, but we pick and find some fault in them. And for ourselves, we always think ourselves very great. We're very proud of all. We ignore our faults, we just focus on our good qualities, but when it comes to others, we overlook their good qualities and we just zoom in on their faults. But Lord Jagannath is the opposite. Someone might have an ocean of faults and just one good quality. But Lord Jagannath, with his big eyes, he'll zoom in to that one small good quality that person has. And he'll magnify that and give that person full mercy. So that's the mood of Lord Jagannath. He's just come to just bestow mercy upon all the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. Another point, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj explains that if you look at Lord Jagannath, he has his arms outstretched like this. Which means, when someone's doing like this, what does it mean? Come to me, embrace me, hug me. A parent does that to their little children. Come, beta, come, give me a hug. So that's the mood of Lord Jagannath. He's putting his arms open like this and saying, you please come to me, take shelter of me, I'll give you full mercy, just as a loving parent would do. So this is the mood of Lord Jagannath, and understanding this, we can evoke more with Lord Jagannath. We can understand, how merciful he is, and we can offer a heartful prayers to Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadramani. And it's given, Lord Jagannath, he is present in Puri Dham, or Puri Kshetra, and also in the Shastras it's explained that out of all the different dhams, Puri Dham is said to be the topmost. So generally we hear that Vrindavan Dham is the topmost, and then we also have Dwarka Dham. So in Vrindavan there's Krishna with the Vrajavasis, and then you have Dwarka, where Krishna is present with the queens, Uddhava. And then there is also Navadvip Dham, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, with Nityananda Prabhu and all of the Panchatattva and the associates. So these are the main three dhams. You have Vrindavan Dham, Dwarka Dham, and Navadvip Dham. And it's said in Jagannath Puri, all three of these dhams are present. In Jagannath Puri there is Vrindavan, in Jagannath Puri there is Dwarka, and in Jagannath Puri there is Navadvip Dham also. So all of the great dhams, they're all present in Jagannath Puri once. So if you simply go to Jagannath Puri, you can experience all the dhams in just one time. So it's said that the Gundicha temple, which Lord Jagannath goes to during Ratha Yatra, so during Lord Ratha Yatra, Lord Jagannath, he leaves the main temple, which is considered as Dwarka, and he goes in procession to the Gundicha temple. And the Gundicha temple is said to be like Vrindavan. And so Gundicha temple, it represents Vrindavan. The main temple where Lord Jagannath lives, that's considered as Dwarka. And then other holy places in Jagannath Puri like Siddha Bakul, Tota Gopinath, where pastimes of Mahaprabhu's associates took place, that's considered as Navadvip Dham. So just by going on pilgrimage to Jagannath Puri, one can get the benefit of going to all the great dhams, of going to Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka, and Navadvip. So in this way, Jagannath Puri and Lord Jagannath, they're all glorified. There's also a story in the Puranas about the Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad. So one time, Narad Muni, he approaches Mother Lakshmi, and he offers his obeisances, Narad Muni, to Mother Lakshmi, and he asks Mother Lakshmi for a boon. And Mother Lakshmi She says, okay, I'll give you any boon you want, you please ask. And then Narad Muni, he asks that please give me some Mahaprasad of Lord Vishnu. And then Mother Lakshmi, she says, oh, getting Mahaprasad of Vishnu, that's very difficult, Can you please ask for something else? Because Vishnu has specifically told me not to give my Mahaprasad to anyone else. So my husband, Vishnu, he himself has given me this instruction, I can't disobey. So you please ask for anything else apart from this boon. And then Narad Muni says, no, I want Narayan's Mahaprasad, you please give me, you're Mother Lakshmi, you're the Supreme Goddess, you somehow or other arrange. Then Mother Lakshmi says, okay, I'll try my best. So one day, Mother Lakshmi, she's serving her husband Vishnu, prasadam, but while serving him, she's acting very morose and sorrowful. So naturally, when a husband, he sees a wife morose and sorrow, he naturally asks, hey, what's the problem? Is everything okay at home? Did the children do something wrong? Is something happened? So naturally, Vishnu also inquires to Mother Lakshmi, that is everything all right? Why are you so, in a bad mood today? Something seems to be troubling your mind. Tell me what's the problem, I'll solve it, no problem. And then Mother Lakshmi reveals that, you've told me, you've instructed me not to give my Mahaprasad to anyone else, but Narad Muni has come to me and he's asking me. I've promised him I'll give him any boon, and Narad Muni is asking that he wants your Mahaprasad. So what should I do? Then Narayan says, Lord Vishnu says, okay, I'll make exception for this one occasion. So this one time, you can give my Mahaprasad to Narad Muni. While I'm not looking, you sneakily take away my plate and give the Mahaprasad to Narad Muni. So Mother Lakshmi, she does that. While Narayan turns away, Mother Lakshmi quickly takes the plate, goes to Narad Muni and gives Narad Muni the Mahaprasad. And when Narad Muni, he eats, honors Lord Vishnu's Mahaprasad, Narad Muni, he goes into transcendental ecstasy. And he starts singing and dancing in spiritual ecstasy. And just like a madman, he's chanting Hare Krishna, singing with his veena, and this way he's going all around the universe in ecstasy, having eaten Lord Vishnu's Mahaprasad. And in this way, as he's singing and dancing in ecstasy, going all the universe, he comes to the abode of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, he sees Narad Muni in such great joy and spiritual ecstasy. And Lord Shiva, he asks Narad Muni, hey, what's happened? How come you're in such spiritual ecstasy today? What's happened? And Narad Muni tells Lord Shiva that, today I had the greatest fortune. I got Lord Vishnu's Mahaprasad personally from the hands of Mother Lakshmi. And then Lord Shiva says, really, you got Vishnu's Mahaprasad? Can you give me some also? And then Narad Muni is like, oh, I finished all of it. There's nothing left. And then Narad Muni is perplexed. He is the great devotee, Lord Shiva, Vaishnavam, Yatha Sambhu. Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnavas. And Lord Shiva also wants some Mahaprasad, but all of Vishnu's Mahaprasad I took myself. I didn't leave anything for him. So Narad Muni, he's like in distress, what can I tell Lord Shiva now? I finished all the Mahaprasad myself. And like this, he's thinking, and then he notices in between his fingernails, there's one small crumb of Mahaprasad left. As he was eating Mahaprasad, you use your hands to honor the Mahaprasad. And there was a little Mahaprasad, as sometimes happens, you get stuck under the fingernail. And you notice there was still a little bit of Mahaprasad stuck under his fingernail. And he said, oh, there's still a little bit left. And he shows Lord Shiva, and Narad Muni puts his finger into Lord Shiva's mouth. And then Lord Shiva, he honors that little bit of Mahaprasad that was stuck underneath Narad Muni's fingernail. And when Lord Shiva, he just honors that tiny bit of Mahaprasad under Narad Muni's nail, Lord Shiva, he goes into ecstasy. And as we all know that Lord Shiva is famous for his dance of annihilation. At the time of annihilation, Lord Shiva, he does his dance of destruction to destroy the whole universe. So Lord Shiva, in his ecstasy, he starts doing that dance. And then everyone all over the universe, they get worried that Lord Shiva is going mad in ecstasy, dancing, having honored that little bit of Mahaprasad. He'll destroy the whole universe. So they all approach Mother Parvati, Lord Shiva's wife, and say, you please calm down your husband, otherwise the whole universe today will be finished. Then Mother Parvati comes and approaches Lord Shiva and says, what's happened? Why are you going crazy today? What's happened? And then Lord Shiva says, you don't know what's happened. Narad Muni has come and he gave me Lord Vishnu's Mahaprasad. And eating that Mahaprasad, I'm going into ecstasy. Then Parvati says, really? You got Lord Vishnu's Mahaprasad? Can you give me some also? Did you save some for me also? And then now Lord Shiva is in trouble. And he says, no. It was just a tiny bit and I took for myself and there's nothing left. And when Mother Parvati, she hears this, Mother Parvati is none other than Durga. So she also has a bit of a temper or anger. And now she gets really angry. And due to her anger, it's mentioned the whole universe starts heating up. And again, all the demigods, Brahma, Indra, Chandra, they all get worried that today the universe is going to be finished. First it was Lord Shiva's anger to pacify not Lord Shiva's anger, Lord Shiva's dance of destruction. And to pacify Lord Shiva, they went to Parvati. But now Parvati is angry because she didn't get Lord Vishnu's Mahaprasad. And because of anger, the whole universe was heating up. Then finally Vishnu, he comes in Garuda. And Vishnu talks to Parvati that what's happened, okay, you didn't get my Mahaprasad, that's fine. And Vishnu tells Parvati that don't worry, I'll give you my Mahaprasad as much as you want, you can take. And Mother Parvati says to Vishnu that I don't want Mahaprasad just for myself, I want Mahaprasad for all of my children. So all those living entities which are present on planet Earth, I want your Mahaprasad to go to all of them. I don't want any living entity to miss out on your Mahaprasad, because she has personally experienced the distress of having missed out on the Mahaprasad. And she doesn't want other living entities to also go through that distress. So Mother Parvati in this way, she prays to Lord Vishnu that you please give this benediction that not only me, but all of my children. So Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, they're said to be like the mother and father of the universe. So Mother Parvati's children, or Durga Devi's children, is all of us. So Mother Parvati prays on our behalf that you please give your Mahaprasad to all of my children, to all the living entities present on planet Earth. Then Vishnu says, okay, I will come as Lord Jagannath, and when I come as Lord Jagannath, my Mahaprasad will be distributed every day. And this Mahaprasad will go out freely to anyone and everyone. No one will be bad. Not only that this particular caste or this Brahmanas or this or that person can come. No, anyone and everyone can come and take my Mahaprasad every day. And Lord Jagannath, or Vishnu, he gives the benediction that in my temple of Lord Jagannath, before my Mahaprasad goes out, first it will be offered to you. So in Jagannath temple, it's a big complex and there's smaller temples around Lord Jagannath's temple. And there's a temple of Bimala Devi, who is none other than Parvati. So after the bhoga is offered to Lord Jagannath, the bhoga then goes to Mother Parvati. And after Mother Parvati accepts that Mahaprasad Lord Jagannath, then the Mahaprasad goes out to be distributed for the public. And Lord Vishnu also tells her that your temple as Bimala Devi will be very close to me, and I'll keep Lord Shiva's temple very far away from my main temple just to pacify her. So in this way the arrangement, so this is a story behind Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad. So from these stories we can understand the amazing value of Mahaprasad. One might think, what's so great about just a tiny bit of prasad just stuck under the nail of some person. But when Lord Shiva, all Narad Muni had left was just a tiny bit of Mahaprasad stuck under his nail. But when Lord Shiva, he accepted with so much gratitude and bliss that he was in so much ecstasy just to get just tiny bit of Mahaprasad. So that's the great value of Mahaprasad, of Krishna, of Lord Jagannath. So we should never take it for granted. And also we can understand the great value of Hari Katha, of Krishna Katha, as we were discussing the story before of how Lord Krishna, he got the form of Lord Jagannath with big eyes. Mother Rohini was reciting the Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, and Krishna and Balaram, in eagerness, they come to hear their own pastimes. So in this way the Shastras explain that Krishna's pastimes, Krishna Katha, is so nectarian that what to speak of ordinary living entities, Krishna, he himself is attracted to his own pastimes. That's how relishable Krishna Katha is. That's how nectarian Krishna Katha is. Krishna Katha, or the pastimes of Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they're so transcendent and relishable that what to speak of ordinary jivas, even Vishnu, he himself, even Krishna himself, even Lord Balaram, Subhadramani, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, all the demigods, all of them they desire just to hear the nectar of Krishna Katha. And there's one book called the Bhagavat Mahatmya, which discusses the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. In that book, there's one pastime where it's given that Lord Brahma, he was given the task by Lord Krishna to create the universe. And Lord Brahma, he was confused how to create the universe, where to start, what to do. And so he approaches Lord Krishna and says, you've given me the service of creating the universe. This is such a big task. How can I accomplish this task? It's very difficult. And what's the solution that Krishna gives? Krishna tells Brahma that you just simply hear Srimad Bhagavatam, recite Srimad Bhagavatam, everything you need to know will come. And then Lord Shiva, he comes to Krishna and says, you've given me this, the service of destroying the universe at the time of annihilation. This is such a great task. I don't know how I'll be able to do it. Can you please, bless me, give me some tips of how I can do this service for your pleasure? Then Krishna, he again gives him the same solution. You simply hear Srimad Bhagavatam, recite Srimad Bhagavatam, all intelligence will come to you, you'll understand. You'll be empowered to annihilate the universe at time of destruction. And then Lord Vishnu, he himself comes to Krishna and says, you've given me the role to maintain the universe, to maintain my devotees. This is a very difficult task. Can you please tell me how I can do this service? Then again, Krishna, he gives the same instruction. That you simply hear Srimad Bhagavatam, you will be empowered to do your service nicely. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not just meant for us, ordinary living entities. Srimad Bhagavatam is being heard by Brahma himself, is being heard by Lord Shiva himself. What to speak of Brahma and Shiva? Even Lord Vishnu, even he is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. It's given in the Bhagavad Mahatmya that Vishnu and Lakshmi, they would take turns. Vishnu and Lakshmi, their husband and wife, and they would take turns in hearing and reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. So what will happen? First Vishnu, he will pick up Srimad Bhagavatam and he will recite Bhagavatam. Sloka after sloka, he will go through the book and recite Bhagavatam. And Mother Lakshmi, she would hear. And it will take Vishnu 1 month to recite the whole of Bhagavatam. And for 1 month, Lakshmi Devi will just hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Then they'll switch roles. Then Mother Lakshmi, she'll pick up the book. Then Mother Lakshmi will recite Srimad Bhagavatam. And now Vishnu will hear Srimad Bhagavatam. But there's a difference. When Vishnu, he's reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, it takes Vishnu 1 month to recite the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam. But when Lakshmi recites Srimad Bhagavatam, it takes her 3 months. And it's given in the Bhagavad Mahatmya why it takes Lakshmi Devi 3 times more to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. Because when Lakshmi Devi, she's reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, she's relishing the Bhagavatam much more. So generally when you're relishing something more, you take more time. Just like if there's some really nice prasad, then you slowly honor the prasad, take your time, and you very nicely eat. If it's just some simple khichdi, you just quickly eat, or oats or breakfast, You just take some muesli quickly and you go off for work. But if it's some nice big feast during Janmashtami, some occasion, you sit down with your friends, family, you nicely, talk, you slowly relish and you honor all the prasad. And it takes longer time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So in the same way, when Lakshmi Devi, she's reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, she's relishing Bhagavatam even more than Vishnu himself. And because of the ecstasy she's feeling, she takes her 3 times longer to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, even in Vaikuntha, Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi Devi, even they themselves are hearing and chanting Srimad Bhagavatam. Even they themselves are hearing the pastimes of Krishna. So in this way we can understand how glorious is Krishna Katha, how glorious is the Mahaprasad of Krishna. So we should never take these things for granted. So that's a little bit of history of Lord Jagannath's form, how it came, of the glories of Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad. And in terms of the deity form of Lord Jagannath coming on planet Earth, it's given that there's the story, a famous story of King Indradumna. One time he gets the darshan of Nila Madhav. There was a famous deity of Lord Vishnu called Nila Madhav, and there was a famous king named King Indradumna. And he sends out one of his ministers to go and find out about the whereabouts of this deity. And there's a long story, but this deity of Nila Madhav was worshipped by some tribal people. And this person, Vijapati, he goes and he sees how it's being worshipped. He comes and reports to the king. Then King Indradumna, he himself, he goes. But by the time he reaches this place, it's in Orissa, and the deity of Nila Madhav, it disappears. And the deity that was worshipped by all these tribal people. And now King Indradumna, he is in great anxiety, this deities which I wanted to worship, they just suddenly disappeared. What's happened? Then Krishna, he himself comes and tells that, don't worry. I will come in a different form, in a wooden form. And I'll come as Lord Jagannath. And in this form you can worship me. And then Lord Krishna tells him the details. Okay, in the future, from the ocean, 3 pieces of log will come. Then I'll send someone to carve deities of myself. And you can worship them. They will be non-different from these deities of Nila Madhav. So this happens one day from the ocean. These 3 big pieces of wood, they come. And then suddenly a great, sculptor, he also comes. And the sculptor is none other than Vishwakarma. in disguise as an ordinary Brahmana. And he puts forward himself to carve the deities of Lord Jagannath. And he gives some time period that for a certain amount of days, I want to be in privacy with the pieces of wood and I will carve the deities. Don't enter until I'm finished. But due to providence, the queen of the king, she stops hearing the noise. During sculpting you hear some noise, the wood carving, but one day she stops hearing and she's wondering, this old man who's sculpting maybe has passed out, what's happened to him? Can you go check? And the king said, no, he told me not to enter until he's done. But still the queen was saying, no, you go. And then the king opens the door and he sees, then immediately Vishwakarma disappears. And the king sees that the deities are half finished. They don't seem to be fully completed. The arms aren't fully completed. The deity has no legs. And the king laments. Then again, Krishna himself, he speaks to this king, Indradumna, and tells him that, don't worry, this is all part of my pastime. My deity is supposed to look like this. This is a different form of mine, as we were discussing before. This is the form of Krishna when Krishna goes into ecstasy, hearing his own pastimes. So Krishna, he himself, hearing his own pastimes, he goes into transfer ecstasy. His eyes becomes big, his limbs goes into his body. So that's the particular form of Krishna. So from that day onwards, Lord Jagannath, that's how his worship started by King Indradumna. And Lord Jagannath, he offered King Indradumna 3 boons. He said, you can ask me any 3 boons you want, I will fulfill it. First boon that King Indradumna asked is that I want no sons. And when Lord Jagannath hears this, he wonders, why are you asking for this? In general, everyone wants sons, You get married and you have a son, that's like a great delight of life. Why you want no son? You don't want someone to, continue on. You don't want a prince to continue on after you. And King Indradumna says, no, because if I have a son, then, in the future they'll get pride, that this is our Jagannath, this is our kingdom, this and that, all that stuff will come. And I don't want all this kind of politics to happen. So that's why I don't want any sons. So that's the first boon he asked for. So you can see the great pure devotion that this king had. He didn't want anything from himself. He was just thinking of Lord Jagannath, of his service. What will be the best? He wasn't just thinking of the immediate future. He was thinking of Lord Jagannath's service for many generations to come. And the second boon this King Indradumna asked is, he said that I want you to eat continuously throughout the day. I want your hands to be wet throughout the whole day. Meaning that generally we take prasad. After taking prasad, what do? We wash our hands and we wash our mouth. And King Indradumna, he asked for this boon that I want your hands to be wet always, which means you eat, you wash your hands, then immediately after washing your hands, you again you eat. Then you wash your hands, then again you eat another offering. Then again you wash your hands, then again you eat another offering. In this way, I want you to eat whole day non-stop, without stopping, one offering after another. So that's why if you go to Jagannath Puri, 60 times Lord Jagannath is offered, bhoga. So for us, how much we can handle? 3 or 4 times max. Once we take breakfast, then lunch, and then dinner. In between lunch and dinner, we might have some snacks. So max we can eat 4 or 5 times a day. Beyond that, we can't handle. But Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So every day as Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri, he eats 60 times a day. So one offering will come, Lord Jagannath, he will accept the offering, he will wash his hands. Again, before his hands dries, again another offering will come. He will eat that, then again another offering. Like this non-stop throughout the whole day, Lord Jagannath is just eating. So Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, he mentions the point that Prabhupada, he has given us the best, most fun gods. He has given us Lord Gaur-Nitai, the singing and dancing gods, and he has given us Lord Jagannath, the eating god. What more can you want? Feasting, dancing, and singing. Very simple and easy processes, and simply by doing this, accepting Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad, singing and dancing from Gaur-Nitai, we can go back home, back to Godhead. So Maharaj was mentioning his point that Lord Jagannath knows that people in Kali Yuga, they're very lazy, they don't have time. Everyone's always making this excuse, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to read Bhagavad Gita, I don't have time to come to temple, I don't have time to do puja, I have to do work, I have to study. Everyone is very lazy, everyone doesn't have time. So Lord Jagannath, Maharaj is explaining, he knows that people in Kali Yuga, they're just very lazy, they're always coming up with many excuses, they can't do anything. So Lord Jagannath, what does he do? He says, okay, don't worry, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that, you just simply eat prasad. You just simply eat prasad, and by eating prasad, you can go back home, back to Godhead. So that's Lord Jagannath's mercy. So if you go to Jagannath Puri, just by simply eating Mahaprasad, you can advance, and you can go back to Godhead just by eating Prasad. Obviously, we need to have the faith. If we have that faith in Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad, no doubt we'll make that spiritual advancement. So that's the mercy of Lord Jagannath. So that's the second boon that King Indradyumna asked, that I want you to eat continuously throughout the day. And I was reading that book by Purushottam Maharaj, the Jagannath book. You can have a look online, you can order it. And Maharaj is also mentioning, not only does Lord Jagannath eat 60 times a day, but each time he eats, he is offered 56 different preparation, chapan bhog. So it's not like each time he's just offered one meal. Okay, meal number 1 is khichdi, meal number 2 is rice dal, meal number 3 is chapati and sabji. No, each of those different offerings is offered 56 different varieties of prasad. So you can just imagine how much bhoga Lord Jagannath accepts every day. That's why anytime you come during the day in Jagannath Puri, there's always plenty of Mahaprasad. You'll never go without Mahaprasad. And it's freely distributed to anyone and everyone. And the Shastras explain that the purity of Jagannath Mahaprasad is so much that even if Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad goes into the mouth of a dog, even a Brahmana can take that Mahaprasad from the mouth of the dog and honor it. The purity won't go. Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad is transcendental. Even if it's touched by the tongue of a dog, it's still completely pure. Even a Brahmana can take that and accept it as Mahaprasad. So in this way, there's many wonderful descriptions about the glories of Lord Jagannath's mercy, his pastimes, and his Mahaprasad. The third boon that King Indradyumna asked, so the first boon he asked is, I don't want any sons. Second boon, I want you to eat continuously throughout the day. And the third boon he asked is, I don't want you to sleep. I want you to give darshan throughout the whole day. I don't want anyone to be bereft of your darshan. I want your darshan to go out to every single person in the universe. I don't want anyone to miss out. So you never sleep. Whole day, 24 hours a day, you just stay awake. That's why if you look, Lord Jagannath, he doesn't have eyelids. So only if you have eyelids, you can close your eyes and you can take some rest. But Lord Jagannath specifically, he doesn't have eyelids, so he can stay awake whole day and he can give darshan to anyone and everyone. So that's why in Jagannath Puri, Maharaj explains, only 3 hours in a day is the temple closed. Otherwise, for the other 21 hours in a day, you can take darshan of Lord Jagannath. Just for 3 hours they close, and even during those 3 hours when the temple is closed, it's closed for public, but during that time, it's not like Lord Jagannath sleep. During that time, the demigods come and they take darshan of Lord Jagannath. So those 3 hours when the temple is closed, Lord Jagannath is still awake, but at that time, the demigods come and they line up. So they also have a bolad system. All the different demigods, they come. Indra comes, Surya comes, Chandra comes, Hanuman comes, Vibhishan comes, Vidura comes, Prahlad Maharaj comes. In this way, all the great personalities of the universe, during those 3 hours when the temple is closed, the demigods and all the higher personalities in the other planetary systems, they all come to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. As I was mentioning before, it's given in the Puranas. Once taking darshan of Lord Jagannath is equivalent to taking darshan of 10 incarnations of the Lord, face to face. That's the power of taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. So that's why King Indradyumna, he asked for this boon. That I don't want you to sleep. Throughout the whole day, you just give darshan. You never go to sleep. So that's why in Jagannath Puri, 21 hours, temple open. 3 hours when it's closed, that's when the demigods, they come and they take darshan of Lord Jagannath. So in this way, Lord Jagannath, he's just completely just, wholeheartedly just giving mercy in the form of prasad, giving mercy in the form of darshan. And any prayers you offer, Lord Jagannath, he automatically fulfills. Like I was saying, he's the most merciful form of Krishna. So because Kali Yuga is so degraded, because spiritual life is so hard to practice, so Krishna, he comes in a similar mood to give maximum mercy. And specifically it's given that Lord Jagannath, he's just, for Krishna, he's after love and devotion, he's after a bhava. And there's many stories given in connection to this, how Lord Jagannath is just looking for the love and devotion in which devotees offer him things. So there's one story of one old Mataji who was seeing Lord Jagannath as her son. And her name was Kararima. And she, thinking of Lord Jagannath's son, she used to make khichdi for Lord Jagannath in the morning, thinking that Lord Jagannath early in the morning, he'll be hungry. He needs some nice healthy prasad early in the morning to give him a good start to the day. So she would every day in the morning, she would cook khichdi for Lord Jagannath. And one day some Brahmana from outside, he comes, and some sadhu comes and stays over at this old Mataji's house. And this sadhu, he wakes up in the morning and he sees this Mataji cooking khichdi for Lord Jagannath. But the sadhu sees that this Mataji, she's not taking shower, she's not doing achaman, she's not following any of the rules and regulations in properly preparing prasad. She's just cooking without taking shower, straight from bed, without cleaning herself, doing puja, proper puja, and all those different achaman and rituals. Skipping all of that, she's just cooking like that. And the sadhu, he becomes, it's like, he starts correcting this Mataji. That, you're not cooking properly, this is not the way to cook. And then he starts listing out so many different rules. That first, when you wake up, you need to take shower, you need to purify yourselves, do achaman, you need to do that, you need to do that. And he starts giving a set of different rules. And this Mataji is very innocent, so, okay, I didn't know I have to do all this. Okay, from tomorrow onwards, I'll do. So next morning, before she cooks, she goes to take bath, and this time Lord Jagannath comes. So Lord Jagannath, being moved by a love and devotion, every day Lord Jagannath would come to her house and personally take the khichdi that she used to cook. So the next morning Lord Jagannath comes, and he's expecting khichdi for his breakfast. But he sees that his mother, this Mataji, she's in the shower. She hasn't even started cooking. And then Lord Jagannath, okay, I'll wait. And Lord Jagannath's waiting. Okay, maybe after she takes shower, then she'll cook. But after she takes shower, then again he sees that this Brahmana is telling this Mataji, you do this, you do that, you do this. In this way, the cooking is getting delayed more and more. And Lord Jagannath, he's feeling so hungry. And slowly, Lord Jagannath is getting more and more angry. My mother, every day she feeds me with such nice love and devotion, khichdi every day. And this Brahmana is coming and telling her this rule, that rule, and ruining my offering. And then finally, after a long time of waiting, finally Lord Jagannath gets his khichdi, he quickly takes. While he's taking the khichdi, he hears the bell ringing for Mangalati. And then Lord Jagannath, he quickly goes back to the temple. Before the curtain opens, Lord Jagannath quickly gets on the altar for darshan. The curtains open, the pujari is about to offer incense. And just when he's about to offer, he sees on Lord Jagannath's face, there's khichdi all over his face. And the pujari, he's just completely astonished, like, what? Where did this come on Lord Jagannath's face? And then Lord Jagannath, he reveals to the head pujari and the king, later on in dreams, that there's this mother I have, Kararima, and every day she cooks khichdi, and I like the way she's cooking for me in love and devotion. I don't want her to follow all this other stuff this Brahmana is saying. You please make her cook the way she is doing, and I just want this khichdi. And from that day onwards, this Mataji was cooking khichdi for Lord Jagannath. And the day this Mataji left her body, the day this Mataji passed away, it's mentioned that day, Lord Jagannath was incessantly shedding tears. And for many days, it's given, Lord Jagannath, he didn't accept anything. Lord Jagannath just fasted. And for a few days, it's given, Lord Jagannath refused to accept any offerings. So it's given 60 different times, we were saying, Lord Jagannath offered offerings. But Lord Jagannath refused to take anything. And then finally the king, he himself had to come and tell Lord Jagannath, what's happening? Why aren't you taking any food? Why are you crying, incessantly? What's happened? Then Lord Jagannath, in very sorrowful mood, shedding tears, Lord Jagannath, he explains to the king that my mother has passed away. What do you expect? My mother who used to make khichdi for me every day, she has passed away. And that's why I'm crying like this. So many times we hear stories of devotees crying for the Lord. But not only does devotees cry for the Lord, even Krishna, he himself, being moved by the love and devotion in the way we serve him, he also sheds tears. So it's a reciprocal relationship. So to the extent we put our love and devotion for Radha Gopinath to Lord Jagannath, to that extent Lord Jagannath will reciprocate. And we see this with this pastime. How much Lord Jagannath was moved, that even when this Mataji passed away, Lord Jagannath was so moved, he was shedding tears, he wasn't accepting any offerings. Then the king said, don't worry, from this day onwards, in her name, in the name of your mother, we'll offer you khichdi every day. We can't replace her service, but you please be satisfied with this. From that day onwards, before Lord Jagannath is offered the 56 different items, first they offer him khichdi, saying that this is your mother's khichdi, Kararima's khichdi, you please accept this. From that day onwards, this tradition is going on. Like this, there's many stories of Lord Jagannath's amazing devotees with how much love and devotion they serve. Lord Jagannath ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Tai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
एक और बजा
जय जय गौराचंद आरती शोभा